All right, guys, these carnivore RTDs are killer. I've been drinking them post-workout. The macros are amazing. They taste great. 40 grams of protein, 0 fat, 0 sugar, 0 lactose. You got stomach issues, they are not going to mess with you. Roger?
That's right, guys. You can check them out now on their site. All 3 flavors, $9.99, and I highly recommend it.
Let's go.
Boom.
Killer, bro.
Love the chocolate.
Real show, here we go. Real show, here we go. You know that it's gotta be that time, so this is what we chant. What keeps on getting them all amped in advance? Come on. You and I rocking out with Iron Man, F.E. You get the general's point of view on top of Roger's rants. Whenever tapping out, we're putting the most minutes in. You already know what that's about, you know that winners win. Crush whatever's on task, check the podcast. It's the champ and the tramp, let the bomb blast.
All right, guys, we got a special one today, a local that actually we go back since before all this, obviously. Through Brian, and also through AMA, right?
Yeah,
we used to
AMA
train
Fight Club.
With Constantino.
Like Constantino back up in
like
Sunday Pro practice.
Sunday Pro practice. I used to drive all the way up there. I was like, that was like 07 maybe, 06, 07, something like
back
that.
The clock.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But our guest, Scott Fairlamb, is one of the January 6th participants, or as they call them, insurrectionists, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, Roger, I know you kind of had a little segue we wanted to go with, so let's hear it.
Oh, well, no, you said you were going to do the lead-in, but I think we should just start like this, basically. I think a lot of people are going to have a preconceived notion about you, Scott, before you even say a word, right? I mean,
pretty much.
People hear the word insurrectionist, they already have causation, and
right.
and they don't know who you are. I think I would start off just by saying that, you come from a family of law enforcement. Your dad
Correct.
was a state trooper.
Correct.
Your brother was in the Secret Service and served closely with Michelle Obama. She actually wrote about him in her memoir. So It's not like you have this, this hatred for law enforcement or reckless abandonment. So prefacing it with that, walk us through your day on January 6th, what your intentions were, and how this whole thing unfolded. Clearly, well, I'll just let you take it from there.
Well, I had spoken about going down to the Capitol, with my wife at the time, and it wasn't set in stone. I had mentioned it to a couple guys that I knew, and nobody I knew was really going. A couple of people were here and there, but it wasn't set in stone. But I woke up. Something woke me up at 3:30 in the morning, and I jumped in my truck and drove down by myself. Drove all the way down there. Got down there, and I had posted something saying I was down there, something along the lines of like, I'm how far will Patriots go, or this is what Patriots do. How far are you willing to go to defend your freedom?
Not to cut you off.
What's that?
Army. You drove down in the Army.
No. I didn't. I decided not to take the Humvee. Yeah.
Talking to the mic.
Oh man.
Yeah, we have
Forgot about this.
a friend of the podcast here as well. Our friend Bulldog. He's a little legendary himself. We'll get into that. That'll be a later podcast. But
Real legendary. Old mine.
Bulldog and Scott go way back. But anyway, back to how you got there.
So I
really
decided not to take my military Humvee. So
you hadn't made up your mind completely till you woke up early that morning. You said, "You know what? I'm going to go."
Right.
So it wasn't this big
just the
mastermind
last minute type thing.
Yeah. And there wasn't like you're talking to people on Facebook. There's a Facebook group. We're all going down. Nothing.
No.
You weren't part of the Proud Boys.
No, absolutely not.
All right.
No.
So go ahead.
No.
You get there. You make a
so
post.
I get down there and I make a post. How far are you willing to go to defend your freedoms? And as I'm down there, I had a buddy of mine hit me up, and we had ridden bikes together and shit like that. And I met up with him. I actually went over to the firehouse right next to the Capitol. Went in there, had a couple beers, and had breakfast with the firemen down in D.C. Allowed me to park my vehicle right in their
Wow.
in their spot, inside their, they unlocked their fence, all their shit, and I parked in there, which was cool. Had a great breakfast, the whole thing, and walked over to the Ellipse to hear Trump speak. And got up there. Everything was cool. It was beautiful. It was a sea of red, seeing so many people, there in full support, of Donald Trump, our president, and obviously wanted to voice their opinion, show their support, which I did as well. And, during that, and, he gave his speech, and I had no intentions of going to the Capitol. That wasn't even I didn't know we were going there, and he had mentioned we're going to walk down there and we're going to peacefully protest.
And they leave that out of a lot of articles, but
of course,
the key word being there that he said peacefully.
So he's in front of me. I'm at the 50-yard line looking at him, and he says we're going to march down there. We're going to peacefully protest. I said, all right, sounds like a plan. So on the way down, I get a hot dog, have a beer with the guys or, along the way. And once I get there, I'm like, all right, something's already going on.
Something's at the Capitol,
something's already, you could see on the Hill, there's thousands of people. And the closer you get, you're starting to see more and more, and you're seeing more and more. And it's like that movie, The Patriot, man. That's really what I felt. The closer I got, the more shit I was seeing. So I'm going up, and then all of a sudden I see conflict. I see some fighting going on. I see, scuffles already starting to happen.
Within the people you're with, or
no,
against police?
The guys that I was with, when I saw shit going on, and we got to the beginning of the lawn. Now you got to walk. You got a ways to go still. I look and I'm like, oh hell no! I see them, pepper spray cannon with that cannon, just hitting people with it, and they're just spraying blindly. So you got people that are obviously unarmed, couples, older couples, kids, and they're just in a straight line, just taking people out and shooting shit into the crowd.
They Capitol Police?
Yes. Capitol Police, Metro PD.
Yeah.
And as I see that, I said, "Oh fuck no, no, I'm not going to sit back and watch something like that happen to anybody. I don't give a shit who it is." So I look at them, I'm like, "I'll see you boys later, man." And it was like that slow jog where you're going into battle, and you look and you see the two sides starting to go together. But that was it, man. I was gonna stop what the fuck was happening.
Now, not to cut you off, very interesting thus far, but the police are these people retreating at all, or they're still advancing their position?
Well, now at this point, they have nowhere to go. There's a line. They've developed
barricaded it, right? Yeah.
Right. They've set their boundary for people, and people can't go any further. But here's what's happening: they're getting a sea of people are coming now, so they're now getting stuck. Right. So that's what it is. They're getting stuck now. They can't retreat, and they're just getting bombarded. Yeah. They're getting crushed. I mean, they're by other people, and then in the front as well. Because when you're starting to push those barricades that they have set up, which are bike racks, literally. Yeah. Then it becomes a violent encounter, and that's what started happening. They started getting hosed down. And I started seeing people get pepper sprayed and left and right. And, that's when I had made my way over to that scaffolding. And I got up on that scaffolding to try and get a better vantage point of what was going on. This is fucking nuts. This is absolutely nuts what's going on right now. And as I get on the scaffolding, I look, and now they're tossing flash bangs into the fucking crowd.
Wow.
I watched one guy from the Capitol Police go to throw a flashbang, and he hits his comrade, his buddy, in the back of the neck with it, and it sounds like a cannon going off underneath you. The smoke's coming up. Right. Shit's getting fucking wild. Right. And
now, in your opinion, is this warranted? Are they in fear of their lives? Or is there total is there people knocking barricades down?
There was,
no, they're still behind the barricades.
That wasn't it. What happened was, I think people got, what I feel like is people got forced into a situation, and it wasn't handled correctly. They weren't prepared to handle anything, is what it was. It was they were completely overrun with no plan by any of the people that I saw. because there were no groups by me. I was nowhere near no Proud Boys. I don't give a shit about them. You know what I mean? There was nothing going on in that. It was individuals that don't know each other that have now been like, cattle go, to the slaughter. So now they're reacting with violence, There's nobody on a bullhorn. There's no direction. It's each person is dealing with their own personal fucking bullshit right now. So there's nowhere to go but forward at this point.
At this point, you're on the outskirts of it still.
I'm up on the scaffolding, and it's right pretty much underneath me where it's happening.
Gotcha.
Then I start getting shot. I'm getting lit up by this lady's up on the catwalk, and I look at her and I was like, "You have no idea what the fuck you're doing." Yeah. And I saw the look at her, and she was like, she had fear in her eyes, but she let go on me. She's shooting me with the pepper ball gun, and I'm taking him. She kept popping me in the knee as I'm up, 25 feet on the scaffolding, and then all of a sudden, underneath me just broke through, and it broke through that section, and that's when I
broke through with intention, or broke through because they were forced through.
They were
from the best.
Those officers retreated.
Vantage point.
They retreated directly underneath me. There was a guy in a white shirt, black guy, and he said, he turned around, like there were. I think too, what was happening was they were spraying so blindly into the crowd that they were getting wind of it. So a lot of these bullshit charges that they're drumming up. Yeah, this guy pepper sprayed this cop. They were spraying each other. Yeah, they were blindly spraying. You had to see some of these people. They were blindly shooting the pepper ball guns, throwing flashbangs. It was weird. You know when you see a guy throw a football with his opposite hand, and you're like, what the fuck? Yeah. That's what was happening. These guys are just throwing the flashbangs and the pepper balls and this and that, and all of a sudden it was just like boom, they retreated, and everybody just took off running because they had that pressure behind them. They're trying to get free any which way they can. Yeah. And then everybody took off up the stairs, going up them stairs. That was over on kind of like, it's hard to explain like the positioning of that. But I wasn't in the lower West Terrace at that point. That's where it really, really got crazy. But I had made it up, following a bunch of people, and I was in the front of the pack. My judge had said that I was the tip of the spear, so to speak.
Now, did you feel like people were pulling you in?
No. I wasn't pulled in. What I will say is when I got up and I started making my way up the stairs, boom, 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 we're going. And then everybody makes their way to the face of the Capitol. And I happened to see after like 5 minutes, the place is mobbed. And I look, and two guys have already jumped onto the window washing electric scaffolding, and they're going up, right? But only one side's going up, right? So the thing tilts like this, and the whole crowd's like, oh shit, and all of a sudden it levels out, and the crowd goes nuts, like, ah. Already got one guy walking along the edge of the Capitol on that little windowsill of a ledge, just walking around, and everybody's like, oh, he's going down any minute, And the more you look, then you're starting to see they got photographers in the windows taking pictures. Almost like it was something. Let him in.
Waiting for that.
Let him in.
Preparedness was so much there.
Yeah. So that's all going on, and then the Capitol Police in their riot gear start really. Now the guys in their riot gear are really coming out in full force. Well, 4 of them get locked outside of this stoop that I am like right by, up next to the Capitol. I'm in the front, and they're getting fucking pummeled, and they're getting hit with everything. And
the police.
And I go rushing in, and I get everybody off them, and I offer them water because I had grabbed a thing of a Poland Spring bundle when those cops had taken off running up on the top. I had seen some, so I grabbed it because I was thinking
getting in their eyes, right, to get the mace out of their eyes.
Well, that's just it. Yeah. I was handing them out for people that had been pepper sprayed, and so I went up to the guys, and there was a picture that circulated around about this. Now I can't find it, obviously, but they're 4 steps up above me, and I got my arms out. I'm like, you guys need water? What the fuck are you doing? Yeah. And the guy in the front, their lead guy, says, I got my mask on. I like we can have what or whatever it was. He turns back, looks to his guys, says a couple words, turns back around. He goes, hey, can you get us the fuck out of here? And I said, yeah. I said, get behind me. And they got behind me in a stack formation. And I literally brought them around the front of the Capitol, waiting to their, like, I guess their supervisor, who there has a fucking, a rifle on me. And they're like, no, he's okay, he's okay. I then go back to where I was after I get them, the 4 guys, to safety. Which,
and you're saying there's a picture somewhere out
there's
there
video of
in
me
the
saving
ether.
them.
Really?
Well, I'm sure it has to be, right? Don't they
Yeah.
say there's 50,000 hours of
You ready
film?
for this? I didn't get any of that evidence until right around sentencing. Nobody believed that I
Wasn't
had it.
part of discovery.
My lawyer, discovery. My discovery was getting sent into D.C. and they were throwing it out. I saw my first bit of discovery when I came back from my plea deal and I pled guilty to the 2 charges. I had 12 charges, 7 felonies and 5 misdemeanors. I pled guilty, 1, because I was dead to rights, punching the officer, and 2, the obstruction. They caught me inside the Capitol, so I knew I wasn't going to get a fair trial. Right. I'll take these 2 and let's get out of here. Let's get out of D.C., man, in one piece. But I never got my discovery. Well, I saw my first bit of discovery really when I came back from my plea, and it was on TV as I came back into my unit, into the Patriot pod in D.C. So all my discovery I was supposed to be getting, I never got.
The obvious question is, how is that a fair trial?
How is it a fair trial for anybody when they're still withholding 14,000 hours of what could be exculpatory evidence? I mean, you look at Jacob Chansley, who is the QAnon shaman.
Oh, yeah.
Tucker released that, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So Tucker had gotten that video evidence, I believe, from McCarthy. When that video evidence got to his judge, which we had the same judge, Royce Lamberth, he released him and sent him to house arrest. I believe he should have just went straight home. But that right there just goes to show that little bit that was released
Was enough to get him off.
was enough to get him off.
Right.
So how much more is there out there? Yeah. How much more evidence is out there that they're withholding?
It's clear if you watch that he was literally
not only escorted,
guided. It was a guided tour essentially of the Capitol, which was never talked about.
The way they walked him through there, it looked like he was a foreign national.
It sure did.
Did you get to tell, share, to say, hey, I fucking gave 4 cops water, I got him out of there? Did you
I
get
did.
to say all that?
So as I'm saying it to the agents, because they wanted to do like an interview with me, and at that point I was like, absolutely, because I want to blow the lid off and tell him exactly what I saw. And when I had said it, they were like, yeah. They're like, these guys right here. And they show me a still clip of the video of them behind me. It was on on a personal cell phone. And that's when I had looked at my attorney. I was like, I fucking told you. I told you. And he was, wow, yeah. And then when it went for sentencing, 2 of the officers corroborated my story. Wow. The other 2 just didn't happen to remember the 2 guys that were in the back.
Wow.
So then, okay, that's 23 minutes before my assault happens. Okay. Metro PD is in a full riot march going through the crowd, and as they're going through that crowd, they're hitting people. That's what they're doing. They're getting them with the baton and the ribs, this, that, the other thing, pushing people out of the way. And I see it. And you'll see me on the video yelling at them, are you a fucking American? Well, act like one. What you have no idea what the fuck you're doing. Because they didn't. And that was the common theme. They had no idea what they were doing.
Just following orders.
And as I'm yelling at the one cop going through, not impeding them, not stopping them, but as they're going through, I'm saying it to them, I get hit. I get hit in the side. And that's when I turn and I push the first cop I saw. And that's who, obviously hit me with the baton. As I do that, the other cop comes at me, and this is Metro PD, and I said, don't fucking touch me. And I have my hands out like this in a defensive posture, and he smacks my hand down, and that's when I hit him with a quick jab to his face shield. And then that was it. That was it. And about 2 minutes later, I was like,
When you say that was it, no arrest was made there at the
No,
time. That
I wasn't-
ended, that
see,
ended.
that's
that
just-
was it. That was
no.
ended there.
yeah,
And
that ended there.
Did that
He-
officer
they-
appear to you to be injured? You said he had a
No,
face shield.
there was no
a shield
no injury, no medical assistance, no injury, nothing. So they charged me with the 111A, assaulting federal officers, which in itself isn't the right charge because it's Metro PD.
yeah.
Metro PD is a civilian career.
All right.
They're not federal officers.
Right,
they have
right.
jurisdiction over the Capitol, but they're not on the federal payroll.
Yeah.
So my charge should have been a I forget what the hell it was, but a regular, as a regular,
Peace officer or
yeah.
assault on a peace officer?
Yeah.
I'm not sure
Yeah.
where you're going, but okay, I have so many questions, but keep
Oh,
going.
no,
keep
I mean,
going.
feel
No,
free.
no, keep going with the story and walk.
Well, so
how, you said
what I missed was in between that period, I had gone into the Capitol. When I walked in, and I made the right, I was walking down, and I got to the rotunda. And as I got to the rotunda right there, I looked up and I saw it was a full circle of cameras taking pictures of everybody that was in there.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, I shouldn't fucking be in here.
You know.
I knew. Yeah. I knew right there. I was like, damn.
You're saying, if I'm following you, they were in there before you even entered.
Yeah.
They didn't come
without
in with
a doubt.
you.
Without a doubt.
Wow.
They were there. Yeah, without a doubt.
Now, as you're entering and making it to the rotunda, are there Capitol Police with you? Are you seeing them amongst the crowd? You're not?
No.
Okay.
No. That Metro PD squad that was there, they were going down to that Lower West Terrace. That's where the brutality was going on.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So as I see this, I look up and I'm like, nope, time to get out of Dodge.
So like even before that, like when you were approaching up and all this, before you went in, you didn't get that feeling at that point, right? Until you saw those people. Did you notice were there any feds around in the process?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could tell. You could tell a lot of the instigators, agitators, and motivators that were in that crowd
Were feds.
and now you're seeing more videos come out.
Yeah, Ray
of guys
Epps
saying that
clearly.
they're
I mean, it's denied that he was a federal agent, but he's clearly telling people not to go to the Capitol, to go into the Capitol.
Right.
Clearly, and they never faced any charges. Why is that? There was a girl, I forget her name, who was there with her boyfriend, who was standing in the same vicinity, like right next to him. He was actually whispering in the ear of her boyfriend, and she was charged.
Yeah.
With and faces a maximum of 1 year in prison. I don't know how her plea worked out.
Right.
I'm sure it was pleaded down. But why was Ray Epps, in your opinion, you were there, why was he never charged?
He's protected by our government.
Because
protected by our government. He was out there the day before.
It's a plant.
He was out there the day before talking about that.
You never saw Ray Epps?
No.
Yeah.
I had spoken with Ryan Samsel, who was with him, who was the one next to him that originally had pushed through that barrier, whatever it was, who's still locked up.
I believe it was his girlfriend. I think that's the one
Ryan
I'm just
Samsel.
referencing, his girlfriend. I
He's
think.
he's a Jersey guy.
Is that right?
Yeah, I never met him.
Yeah.
He had written to me, and it got to me where I was at. But
Now, I know we're jumping around here a little bit, but since we're throwing names out there to you, Ashli Babbitt, what is your take on her killing, murder, whatever you want to call it? What is your take on that?
I'm here to keep things real.
Was that warranted in any way?
Absolutely
I saw
not.
the video. It didn't seem warranted to me.
Absolutely not. You have a trigger happy officer who shot an unarmed woman.
They hadn't breached the doors. Now, they were trying. I'm not saying they weren't trying. They were, but there was 3 Capitol officers standing in front of them
Right
at
there.
the doors. If you watch the video, they're not assaulting them in any way. They're not
Correct.
harming them at all. As a matter of fact, one guy reached around the officer and punched the window and shattered the window.
he was using his helmet. He
was
was
that what it is?
he was Antifa.
Okay. Well,
Zach. 'Cause
regardless,
they locked him up.
they
with us.
didn't injure the officers in any way.
No.
And then the officers eventually move out of the way, but not far. They're
Right.
feet away, and they're essentially allowing the crowd to try to, get through these doors, this barricade. I think there's some stuff piled up on the other side of it, and they're doing that. Now, Ashli Babbitt in the video, you can see they kind of lift her up, and it hasn't been breached yet. It's still there. And you just see a handgun kind of come around the corner.
Sure.
Somebody yells, there's a gun. And next thing you know, there's a shot, and Ashli Babbitt goes down.
Sure.
Now, it seems a little premature to me. When the door hadn't been breached, they clearly were not injuring anybody. Maybe property, right? Maybe anybody could make the argument that they could be arrested, should be arrested, and charged. I'm not going to bat, but to kill a woman?
Well, here's what's even wilder. Think about it like this: you got a guy that's using his helmet as a weapon, right? That's ultimately what it is. He's smashing a window out, right?
Well,
if you're going to justify shooting somebody in that situation,
do
you think you'd shoot the person that had the weapon that was using the helmet to smash the window through, or the unarmed girl that's attempting to climb through?
Yeah.
Right.
And let's not lose touch of the fact that had that been a white officer shooting an unarmed black woman, the streets would have been on fire. They would have been on fire.
Yep. Yeah. And whose fault is that? Is that mainstream media?
It's mainstream media. It's
100%.
mainstream media.
I don't watch the news anymore. I refuse.
100%. It's like, we can go into a million examples.
Right.
I want to stay focused on your day on January 6th, but we could do another whole podcast on that.
Yeah.
Frankie and I touch on it, but yeah. So you had the incident with the officer. You say, you admit to punching him, right?
Sure.
Say there didn't appear to be any injury. What happens after that? You weren't arrested there. How do you leave the Capitol?
When I walked out of the Capitol after seeing all the photographers up in that rotunda, I turned around, and as I was walking out, people are coming in aggressively. 100% of Fed looks at me and he's like, "You're going the wrong fucking way," and I was like, "No, you are," And that's when I was like, "No, I don't belong here." And I made my way out, and the transgression of how it was coming up flipped. So here's the battle lines of the front at the Capitol and everybody inside now and seeing this. And the more I go down the hill, the less violent it was. But ultimately you're getting down there and it's like, okay, people are looking, their eyes are lighting up, and then it's like the second row, people are like, "Oh yeah, let's go up there," and then at the bottom there's people taking pictures, and I'm walking down like, you have no idea what you're even walking into.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
So were there people still in the Capitol when you were walking out?
It was the start of it.
It was the start of it. So you were in there in the very beginning.
I was one of the first people.
Wow.
You made the statement that guy was Antifa. Antifa seems to not be pro-Trump in any way. They seem to love chaos and anarchy.
That's
They were dressed up. They were dressed up in Trump garb. That was part of their deal.
Understood.
And I know this for a fact because I was locked up with the kid.
Gotcha.
I was locked up with the kid, and I sniffed him out right away.
Really?
And ultimately, he was taken care of and moved out of our unit.
Really?
Yeah.
Like taken care of in like the good way or the bad way? Well, it depends who you look at it, I guess.
Put it this way, they moved him.
Yeah.
They moved him.
Taken care of in our way.
Yeah, all way.
We've spoken off air. My girlfriend has known you and your family for a long time, way before January 6th. She always said, "Oh, you got to meet my friend Scott. You love him. You guys are similar." So, there is a little history there. But where was I going with this? Totally lost my train of thought here. I had an intent here, and I totally lost it. All right, what do you got, Frank? I lost my mojo.
So the people, how long? Okay, so how did they get you? How did they get you? Obviously, you're on camera.
So,
they came to your house.
I stuck out like a sore thumb, man. It's funny. I was wearing like bright red sneakers. I had a hunting my hunting jacket on, a camo hunting jacket, and I stuck out. I wasn't wearing a face mask.
Yeah.
There was no fake. There was no what is that? KN95 face mask on me. Yeah.
Yeah, but you say they didn't. There was no charges pressed. You weren't arrested there. You made it home, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I made it home.
So how does that happen? How do they eventually come to talk?
So
to you?
I get home and I'm like, man.
Did you think something was up?
Nuts.
Like they're coming for you?
They gotta be.
Yeah.
They gotta be. After everything that happened, going into the Capitol, not only going into the Capitol, but with a baton in my hand, fully extended. You know, I looked like a Sasquatch walking through the door. My beard was raging. Yeah, you know. So, and my tattoos. You know, my hand is literally in a still frame, and you know, and I was training at the time.
That's what I was
at the time
say.
I was training
Yes.
some FBI guys. I would train certain, a couple, departments, police departments, and boxing,
Also work with
hand-to-hand
kids,
combat,
right?
stuff like that.
That's where I was going with that.
Right. So I had mentioned to one of the guys, like, hey, my name's going to be coming across your desk.
Yeah. Give me a heads up.
Yeah. So he was like, all right, well, I'll let you know. I'll dig into it a little bit, see what's up. And so I got home on the 6th, right that night. FBI came to my house 6 days later. 2 agents had come to the house, and
Respectfully, like knock on the door, or
knock on the door.
no flashbang grenades,
No
coming
flashbang
through the
grenade,
window.
nothing like that. And they said, we'd like to talk to you. And I politely told them who my lawyer was and gave him his number. And then they came back on the 22nd, and they came pretty heavily armed and equipped, and it seemed like there was every windbreaker. The
Members only
FBI,
jacket. Yeah.
Joint Terrorism Task Force, Homeland Security,
Really?
all of them.
I mean, they really know. I'm sure before they came to your house, I would imagine they fucking did like a big deep dive background check.
Sure.
They know you're not some fucking crazy. You know what I mean?
Well, see, that's just it. What you believe in. Certain people feel like they have the right to label you as crazy when the minute you disagree with them. It's.
But I mean,
the difference
as
of
far as,
opinion, I think, is what makes this world go round. When I stand up for something I believe in, all of a sudden I'm an extremist.
That's what they're doing now.
Right.
They're relabeling.
So my line in the sand has been drawn for years.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me an extremist. It just tells you and gives you a fair warning of what I stand up for. Freedom of speech.
Yep.
Freedom of speech. You should be able to tell me or to say you don't fucking agree with me. And awesome. That's perfect. At the end of the day, that's what makes our country the greatest country in the world.
Amen.
Yeah.
I have a 3%er tattoo on the back of my neck, and I've been called racist. I've been called, told I'm part of a militia group that's going to overthrow all total horseshit. Has nothing to do with the meaning. Even if you look up the meaning now, they tie it to militia groups and that want to overthrow. It's not. It's the furthest thing from it. If you look up the true meaning of it and what happened in 1775, Paul Revere, 3% of colonists picked up arms against the British. That's the meaning behind it. But they're relabeling terms. Frankie sent me an interesting video today about a 12-year-old kid that was booted out of school for having a Gadsden flag on his book bag because the teacher or the principal, whoever it was doing the talking, said it's racist.
Yeah.
How is the Gadsden flag
they said
racist?
it had to do with something about slavery and this and that, and the mother
She
was
got
like,
the wrong war.
No, it actually has to do with the Revolutionary War and how we're not going to let our the British oppress us.
Correct.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Nothing to do with race whatsoever, but they're redefining terms, and it seems to be directed at patriots.
well, they're trying to manipulate the truth.
Exactly.
Is what it is, and that's what it boils down to when you get to the facts about that flag and other flags.
Yeah.
The Betsy Ross flag was demonized for quite some time.
Right.
I mean, and you look at that Gadsden flag, and others, and just even the "Live Free or Die" motto. People are like, "Oh my God, live free or die."
Yeah. Right.
What an extremist!
Isn't that
that's New Hampshire's slogan?
New Hampshire? Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So at what point?
What
just
happened
like-
to us? What happened to us?
Right.
That's what
Right.
it is.
Right. When did how
Indoctrination is what's happening.
indoctrination and the pussification
of America.
of America.
That's correct. I couldn't agree with
Yeah.
that statement.
Hell yeah.
Of America.
Where does
from top-
responsibility lie?
Well,
With parents? What generation started it? Where did the swing begin to happen?
the power trip and the power grab from that indoctrination in the schools is what's really
so
transpiring.
Bad. So bad.
The Department of Education, the head of education, all that shit
Saw a
that they're
teacher
trying to.
today on social media saying parents have no rights. Children have rights.
Right.
Once they're old enough to consent, they can consent to
Well,
whatever they would like.
That's the only good thing that came out of this lockdown is the fact that, all these mothers and these parents were now looking over the shoulder of their kids. We're just fucking homeschooling. And they're like, hold up.
Right.
Little Johnny's fucking reading about trans or gay this, gay that.
Now, this thing that they're pushing now is climate change, bro.
Because you said that and you only said gay and trans, you're immediately going to get labeled, right? I say anything, any type of sexuality up to a certain age. I don't care if it's straight. You have no business learning about it. None.
That's not.
I didn't learn sex ed until I think I was like a junior, maybe sophomore, junior, and it was the most basic dissecting of a frog anatomy that there possibly was. Now third graders are reading books that are so graphic you can't read that book at a school board meeting. They won't allow you. They will shut you down if you do it. It's insanity.
Yeah. That didn't happen in where was that, Virginia?
It's happened all over.
That big one. That big one where they had it in Virginia and they locked up the father.
Yep.
Yeah.
With the
school board,
because
the school board has actually sued a mother before. I wish I could remember her name, but they've actually sued a mother just for standing up for the rights of her child. And it's insanity what's going on.
So, but let's go back.
We got sidetracked.
Yeah. So they get you, right? They come to your house. They arrest you.
Do you speak?
Do you get bail?
Do I see him?
Or do you immediately get a lawyer?
Did I what?
Did you talk to them at all, or you immediately lawyer up?
No, I mean, I didn't talk.
Right.
They came in and I was like, look, man, first off, I said, I got 2 dogs.
Yep.
Don't kill my fucking dogs, please.
Yeah.
So they were cool about it. They let me grab my dogs and put them in. I put my dogs in the bathroom, and I came out. I was like, look, don't tear up the house. What's up? And they were like, then tell us where these things are. They said, where's the baton? So that's right over there, on the kitchen table. I said, where's the red sneakers? They're in the closet. Where's the where's the camo jacket? I said, well, that's in the closet. They're like, all right, cool. All right. So then that was basically about it, man. They shut down my where I live for, I guess, a couple hours, and I guess did a full search, but from what I remember, they didn't tear up the house. I mean, that's it. I was gone for 2.5 years, basically.
So you left and then come back?
I left and then come back. That was it.
And this had some profound impacts on your personal life. You suffered a divorce from this, correct?
Yeah. So I had a divorce. Shit. I lost my business. Let's talk about the important shit. I lost my business, which that is what really hit me hard because I take care of a lot of autistic kids and train a lot of autistic kids, learning disabled kids, and it was an outlet for them with the boxing. Yeah. And what's so amazing, Frankie, and you can relate to this, is with the combinations and hitting focus mitts, right? And we're always learning it and we're working it, right? Well, there's something about that autism and that spectrum. When they get it, it's crazy because it's just the way you're holding the mitts that they're reacting. It's not the combinations you're calling out because then you don't. It's like you don't have to.
Yeah, right.
Which is wild. So for me, that was my biggest loss, not being able to. I have a dear guy that who became just a student of mine for a long time, but just I felt like I didn't want him to feel like I abandoned him because he didn't know. He doesn't know. He's pretty much nonverbal, and his name was Jonathan, and he's just the best. So that's one thing. Like I'll be seeing him soon. And I had written him from prison and sent the letter home to my wife at the time, who never forwarded the letter, who never forwarded any of my character statement letters.
No.
Yeah. What? So with that being said, I lost my business. A lot of the great relationships that I had with my clients, that was big. And then while I was in there.
You're saying you're a human being with actual feelings, unlike many people out there may think. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Right. Insane.
Yeah. Pretty wild. So that in itself was the tough pill to swallow. I ended up just giving him the keys to the gym with my equipment in it because I had 2 more years left on the lease. So it was like, here. So I walked away from it completely. and had nothing. So then the divorce, everything was fine with that. And then all of a sudden, right when I was set to get out for halfway house, which they later denied me, said I was medically inappropriate. That's a great avenue to go down. While that was transpiring, all of a sudden it was, I want the divorce. I said, no problem. I'll give you the divorce when I get out, but don't sell the house. I'll continue to pay the mortgage, which I was doing the whole time from prison. Just don't sell the house because you're going to fuck up my probation, all that other shit, right? They've already done the home inspection. Right. No problem. Literally gets off the phone and puts the house on the market. Jeez. But, I put a cease and desist on that and sold it on my own terms once I did get out, which was cool. But no, I haven't seen or spoken to that part of my life since back in December of 22.
It may have been a blessing in disguise.
It's been a complete blessing in disguise.
There you go.
This whole experience has been a blessing. When people say to me, they're like, would you do it again? I don't have the yes/no answer. What I ask them is, and I ask you is, would you be willing to give up 2.5 years of your freedom for eternal life through Christ? Because that's ultimately what happened with me. I mean, I was in solitary conditions for 11 months. 11 fucking months. You have guys that were locked up that day. I've gotten in trouble here and there. And I've done, a couple weeks here, a couple weeks there in jail. All for fighting. Nothing bad. But you got guys that are locked up that never even got a fucking ticket. That are that went through that. I
think one of their names, correct, I could have this wrong, I believe it, Matthew, God, I just had it. Anyway, he was charged.
Miller?
No, Perry, maybe? I forget. But anyway, had lived a totally clean life, never charged with anybody, got charged on January 6th. I forget his exact charges. His aunt actually just spoke in front of Congress. It was pretty heart-wrenching to watch. He committed suicide. Because she said he died of a broken heart because he lived very clean.
I feel like his last name was Miller.
Could be. Hang on. Perna. Matthew Perna.
Okay.
Matthew Perna. Sorry, I'm not reading text messages. A lot of people see me look at my phone and probably like, this disrespectful dick.
What a scumbag.
I'm just checking my notes. But anyway,
you could be checking. You could be checking your watch like Biden, though. I mean,
yeah. Falling asleep in Maui.
It's like
crazy.
He's checking Tinder.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But I would like your take on that. 4 Capitol police officers committed suicide after January 6th. Matthew Perna committed suicide while awaiting trial. Which you guys were not given a speedy trial in any way, shape, or form, which you're supposed to be given by the Constitution, right? The writ of habeas corpus gives you a speedy trial date, and you can't be held in.
Even after your sentence, they kept me in D.C. for 87 days.
That's insane.
After I was sentenced.
That's insane.
What is D.C. like local county?
The D.C. jail,
county,
which they had
like
which they cleaned out 2 months before January 6th even happened.
Wow.
Come on,
do you have an
bro.
opinion on that? The pretty significant
the reason
amount
why
I want to know this.
of suicides that happened after January 6th, including Capitol Police and
Maybe
people,
they saw something.
That's what I'm not suggesting that. I'm asking
He
if
got
you think
suicided.
that's
You're saying?
Maybe they saw something.
Yeah.
Now,
There's a lot of guys coming forward.
Okay.
Even the chief
saw that recently.
All right,
man.
Saw that. Yeah.
This is what a lot of people, a question that I think a lot of people want to know, right? Because you were one of the guys, the first guy, one of the first people. Do you feel like what Donald Trump said inspired you to do this?
Absolutely not.
No.
Were you there to overthrow the government?
Absolutely not.
What was your intent going
If I was
in? What
going
were
to
you
overthrow
thinking?
the government, I would have went armed or something.
Yeah, right, yeah. But like, what was your intent going in? What were you thinking?
To go and show support for my president. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, to go down there and be a voice. Not that I had a microphone in front of me, but to be a voice and to be part of a group of people that were there for the same reason, and that was to have our voices heard, that were sick of the lockdowns, that were sick of having their rights trampled as far as freedom of speech. When I was told I was a non-essential business, when I got kids that are special needs. That all they care about is that one day, on the weekend.
That hour.
Saturday, 11 o'clock,
liquor
boxing
stores
Scott. I have one
remain
guy
open.
that says that every week. Happy. How's John? Happy. Boxing, happy. gonna close me down,
Right.
but you're gonna keep that fucking liquor store open. On the corner, aren't
Churches.
you?
You couldn't
Aren't
bury your dead.
Yeah.
You couldn't go to the church, bury your dead. But you go to Walmart. You go to any big box store, any big franchise.
It's coming back.
Right.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers, I'm telling you, I'm not playing this time.
No.
I mean, I barely played last time. This time it ain't happening.
I think
Ain't happening.
I don't know about you, Scott. In the very beginning, we were Frankie and I can say this because we had a podcast the whole time. Always very much skeptical, but in the beginning, the very beginning, I'm talking the 14 days to flatten the curve, right?
2 weeks. I gave it 2 weeks. After
We
that, I was
gave
done.
it maybe
I did
2
too.
weeks, even though we were skeptical. We gave it 2 weeks because we were told, right, by Fauci, 14 weeks.
Bro,
14
they
days.
were showing
then
dudes
after that-
on gurneys in China
Yeah.
shaking. I'm like, oh wow, well this might be some crazy shit right here. I don't know.
After that, we were done. Thank God we live in Ocean County because they
Yeah.
they were pretty much done with it around here. You know,
That's
early
great.
on, it was great. You know, and then we had Ian Smith on who was also there. Wasn't charged.
I've spoken with him,
but he went there. He was on our podcast the week of or the week before.
Yeah.
he went down there to January 6th. We even for a brief moment talked about going
Yeah.
just to show support and listen to him. Listen to his speech. But he didn't go in the Capitol. Wasn't charged. But there's a guy who refused to shut his business down, and the way they came after that man and persecuted that man, and look now, look now, all the United pilots, whatever the number. Well, I'm going to have the number wrong. 1,000, 14, whatever it was that were laid off because they refused to get. They were all hired back. What does that go to show you? We live in an insane clown world.
But all these people are gonna fucking like they all fell for it again. They're gonna fall. Like people in this room won't, but that's about it.
They were trying to get neighbors to rat on neighbors.
They were.
Yeah,
Neighbors
and it
were.
won,
They were.
and they got it. Yeah,
They
They
were.
were.
yeah, dude.
were.
That's I remember.
Family members
I
were turning
remember-
in family members.
Gina Carano got fired from
Right.
Star Wars because
Yep.
she said that.
Yep.
She said this is what it was like in Germany when they were ratting on the Jews, bro. That's what she said. Yeah.
God bless her.
Yeah.
God bless that woman.
God bless her. But yeah, that whole to go back onto that suicide thing, I don't know. Of course, I'm speculating, but something leads me to believe that they might have seen something. I know that the guys that I was locked up with, I ended up getting a job as an orderly in the unit. And the reason why I got the job was to oversee all the guys that were locked up. It's solitary conditions, man. At one point, we were doing 48 to 72 hours and then coming out for a shower for like a half an hour. So we weren't even doing 23 and 1s at that point.
Did they do that to everybody that was part of January 6th? That was like a personal.
But
We were all locked up together.
together.
The 45 of the worst of the worst.
Right.
Were
Of the
locked
January
up.
6th.
But what was the?
You weren't with
necessity?
anybody else though?
Nobody, not well.
any other-
Originally, when I went to Hudson County, I was just in the federal pod with regular dudes.
Oh.
Yeah, and then when I was in Hudson County from January 22nd to March 16th. The night before March 15th, they came and gave me a COVID test. I'm like, I'll see you boys, later. And then went down from there to D.C. D.C. was fucking nuts. D.C. was rough. The guards there were fucking nuts.
You think they took it personal because it happened in D.C.?
They were all fed. It started with first of all, they just walked the fucking warden out of D.C., Kathleen Landerkin. And if you go back on her Twitter, anybody that voted for Trump, fuck you, and all this great. It's on her Twitter. Marjorie Taylor Greene had brought it up, who actually came in to visit us in D.C. and finally made it into our unit. Her and Louis Gomer from Texas made it into our unit after being locked out like 3 times.
Really?
She cried when she had heard my story about my incident with the guards that came one night to rough me up. But
In jail?
yeah, that's in D.C. Yeah.
Tell us this story.
So we had a thing that we started every night at 9:00. We sing the national anthem as loud as we fucking can. When we're out, I would call everybody, and we'd call everybody pretty much to attention. And one of us would find a way. We'd get up on the balcony. So what had happened was somebody had court downstairs, like a virtual court. And they just happened to take a flag and stow it in their jumper. And they brought it back to the unit, just like that one right there. Flung it over the balcony, man, and I would give a call or whoever, 3 minutes. And everybody would look around, and everybody come in together, and we'd sing the national anthem.
That's fucking
It was
great.
fucking wild. Wild. It got so good that it was changing the hearts of the guards. And they started standing up.
Fuck, bro.
Yeah. Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene had come in with Louis Gohmert, right? And, of course, the warden is standing on the stairs, and she's looking right at me. And I'm like, yeah, fucking, I'm going to let everybody know. And I was like, yeah. They had come in to, come up to my cell to rough me up, this, that, the other thing. But we'll get to that. So Marjorie Taylor Greene's standing there, and we're all talking, and she's kind of asking people, like, what's happening with you? What's happening? My main focus was trying to get her to deal with this Lonnie Kaufman, who's 70 years old. And he's fucking hurting, man. He's swollen up. He's the guy that they arrested with the Molotov cocktails or whatever in his truck, the old man.
I'm not familiar.
Lonnie
with that.
Kaufman, 70 years old.
Okay.
70 years old.
Put this guy in D.C. prison with everybody.
D.C. prison, and they're shackling him. Shackle escorts in the same, just outside the unit, to medical every day. Well, it's my turn to go to medical. We're not fucking doing it no more. Nobody's leaving this pod shackled. Today's the last fucking day. So we had to sit in. And that's when shit started getting changed. Because we started standing up for one another, and we really developed a family in there. So boom, no more shackled fucking escorts. That's not happening. We're not going. We'll refuse medical treatment, and we'll blow the doors off this place. Boom. So they come in. Everything's going on. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene's talking here. Louis Gohmert's talking here. And I'm like, they're about to feel the love in this place, right? 3 minutes. I yell out, right? She's like, what the fuck is going on here, right? The flag makes its way out, and it gets draped over the ledge right in front of the fucking warden. And all of a sudden, boom, we go right into it, right into the national anthem. Oh, say can. And I mean, we sound good, right? We sound good.
I'd buy that.
And there wasn't a dry eye in the place, man. And they were it was beautiful. So that was such a big hit that I started God Bless America in the shower. And it was like I had the perfect sound coming off of the shower here, and then everybody else was hitting it. Because at that point, it was like 4 guys out at a time, So anytime I got out, everybody's singing it. So you got the good sound of the echo from the guys on the top tier, and I started singing it, and now it became a thing too. We're all locked down, single cell, and we're singing God Bless America one night, and one of the guards panicked and called in, I guess, a guard from next door, but he was also SRT, the Special Response Team guy. So he was like real fucking gung-ho, this guy, dressed like he's, a gunnery, whatever. So he comes in and like his fucking walk, and he's looking back and forth. And he said, what the fuck are you doing? Or shut the fuck up. I said, we're singing God Bless America, bro. He's like, fuck America. And I was like, oh, yeah. I said, that's cute. God bless. And we start up again. So he's walking back and forth on the bottom tier, right? And I can see down on. He's telling everybody, he goes, when you wake up tomorrow, he goes, that fucking guy's going to be in the hole. I'm like, I'm already in the hole. What are you talking about? I'm already fucking locked eyes. I ain't going nowhere. Now at this point, I'm like, I ain't fucking going nowhere. I ain't fucking go get the rest of the guys. You know what I mean? And he came back. He came back with three other guys, and I heard the keys coming. And I hear like cell 30. I'm like, fuck yeah! But I knew it was coming. I had my Rawling Velcro fucking kicks on, man. I was like, I ain't going down without something. You know what I mean? And I heard him coming up. Boom, 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 boom. So they get to the door. They unlock the door. And 2 of the guys used to take me out to outside medical at what is it, Howard University Medical for my cancer. So I got along with them guys. There were 2 canine guys. They were cool. They turned their backs. This fucking guy, Sergeant Holmes or whatever, Corporal Holmes, I forgot. He shuts his camera off. I'm like, all right, maybe this motherfucker wants to bang.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
All day long. You know, respect. I was like, all right, respect. And the other guy didn't. He just unlocked the door and kind of stood aside, and he came in. He came in, and it was like, I'm not fucking moving. You know what I mean? And he was foaming out the mouth, and he was right here. And I was just like, I had prayed about this, and this is how I know fucking God is real. I know it.
Amen.
I knew something was going to transpire that night. I knew it. And I said, God, please protect me. Please protect me. Please protect him. Don't let me get another charge. Don't let me react to him, hit him, his head hit the fucking toilet and die. You know what I mean? At this point, you're already like, this system, it's got me in this motherfucker, and this is where I'm at, and this guy's gonna come into, now it's your fucking house, your cage. Imagine being a dog spit on every day inside their cage, and you're trying to get in the cage to yell at the fucking dog. How many dogs snap on that owner? Every fucking one of them. Now this guy's gonna come in my fucking house, and he's gonna get in my face, and he's foaming at the mouth, and he wants to go. So I had prayed on this. And I said, God, just protect me. Allow this man to see you and me. Let me be a tool for you. And mid bark, everything, I saw his eyes completely change. And just stopped, man. And just stopped everything and backed his way out of my cell.
Really?
Came back twice again that night. Now, this is a cell that you don't have a bean slot or anything like that. This is a fucking cell door that you actually got to open. Tried coming back twice that night. And I was like, no. He's like, are we good? Are we good? I said, I'm fucking great. That's how I know God is real.
Amen.
Wow.
Amen.
That was amazing.
We
That
need
was
more.
fucking amazing.
We need more God in this world today. But
That
you
was
were
amazing.
you were a spiritual man before going in, or you sort of found God there?
I was just a guy that so I had been going periodically with my ex-wife, and I was in attendance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's a difference.
But no, I always believed in him, but I didn't give myself over to him.
Yeah.
I didn't give myself over to him, and ultimately that's where everything just, it's like, I've been out since June 8th, right? I immediately got a house. I literally moved 15 houses down from where I was. Sold the house, moved 15 houses down. Already had a job back in October of 22. A guy hired me that never even met me. I have medical benefits already, being home 2 months, which is huge for my cancer. I take chemo pills every day for my leukemia since 2010. You try doing the discount on that. It's $19,000 a month. Wow. Who's going to be able to pay for that? So that has worked out great. I have a wonderful girlfriend who's just, man, it's everything in life is perfect. My family is healthy. My mother's healthy. I'm back talking to my brother, who I hadn't spoken to since before I got locked up.
Wow. That's amazing to hear. I mean,
I had written him on his birthdays and called him on his birthdays and stuff like that. Obviously, with his profession, I mean, he was head of Michelle Obama's detail for 8 years.
Sure.
Wow.
So I understand the effect that it had on him, and that's the only thing when I talk about, and I don't mean to sound selfish. Don't let this sound selfish at all when I say, eternal life through Christ. Well, yeah, that's ultimately what this is all about. But the fact that it put all that all that pressure on my family, you know, that stress on my mother, my brother, his kids, my sister, her kids, you know, like that is where, you know, it's catch-22.
Sure.
You know what?
You would have never, ever gone on that venture had you known not what it did to you, would have done to people you love, right?
But knowing that I would be where I'm at with Christ.
Perhaps it's a better way to look at it. I listen, and this is through experience, right? If you're looking at things in a negative light, right? Change your perspective, change the people you're around, change your setting, and
perception.
I had to do that. Perception is everything.
Everything.
I would agree with that. You can be happier with less. I've learned that, and I maybe at one time lived a little bit of a glorified life. I live a much simpler life now.
Right.
Not that I'm comparing the two. You've been through hell and back, but
get
changed my perspective, and I think you're saying the exact same thing.
Simplify.
Yeah.
Simplify. Hold what you know.
Yeah.
What you know is near and dear to your heart. The true things that you love.
Right.
Not the, you know, it's so, I fucking hate this word, materialistic.
Yeah.
The worldly shit.
Right.
Those false idols.
Yeah.
No. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Spend time with your family.
Agreed. Yeah. Agreed.
And what I developed, and again, I believe in what you want to believe in. But what worked for me was developing a relationship with God. Talking. Just, you know, talking.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's perfect. We're all sinners, man. We're all sinners. Nobody's perfect. But just getting that out there, developing a relationship. He wants to be your friend. He wants to be your friend.
When you have nobody, you always have him.
Nobody.
Yeah.
What's crazy is I didn't even fucking have a mirror where it's like, oh, self-reflection. Now's the time to reflect on the shit you did. And you're going to look in the mirror. That ain't no mirror. It's fucking scratched up. You can't see nothing. That's self-reflection? No. You got to look inside yourself because you can't even see yourself. You can't even see yourself.
Amen.
Look inside yourself, find out who you really are.
Right.
And by doing that, who better to talk to than your creator?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Who would you go to? Who would you go to if you had a problem with your fucking truck outside? The dealer, right?
Yeah.
They made that truck.
Who would I go to if I had a problem with me?
Right?
The person that created me.
Who created you?
Amen.
I mean, ultimately, we go to our parents, right? They created us, but who created them? Yeah. We go to numero uno, man. You got to go to the big boss upstairs and just be like, look,
well said.
I fucked up.
Have to be honest.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting this side of you. This is refreshing.
Well, it's not something that I go around pushing.
But it's real.
You need to ultimately find him.
Yeah.
He's not going to seek you out.
For sure.
He's not going to seek you out. He's waiting for your call. He's waiting for your call, but he's not going to seek you out. You have to hit, for a lot of people,
rock bottom.
Bottom.
Yeah.
And it's so funny how it's like rock bottom, right? Bottom associated with the devil, right? The devil. Devil's among us. The devil is among us. But we talk about the devil and it's down there. Oh, hell's down there. Hell's down there. Rock bottom.
It's right here on earth.
Fucking wild, ain't it?
Yeah.
It's wild and crazy.
Follow
Because we got into perception for a minute.
Yeah.
And I think that is so important.
Correct.
Because it's ultimately like what you're seeing is how you react.
Yeah.
Right? So how much of what we're seeing right now is actual, and I'm not trying to sound reality.
No, I mean, especially with, we don't know what's real anymore, right? You really don't know what's real.
Very easy to be. It's so much easier to be negative because, you know, if you're ever trying to compare yourself to what is glorified today, almost nobody lives that life, right? So you can't look at it like that. You have to be happy with what you've got. And for me,
grateful.
Grateful. You know, I have 2 healthy kids, and I remember every day that if I had all the money in the world, but I had 2 sick kids, I'd give it all away to have them. Mm-hmm. I don't have all the money in the world, but I've got 2 perfectly healthy kids.
See how beautiful that is, though? Even the fact that you said that. Yeah. I'm happy for you. There's not enough of that.
Yeah.
They're trying to kill kids. They're trying to literally make abortion like it's fucking normal.
12-month abortions. How insane is that? Crazy.
Life, man, and it's so simple. Like it goes back to just simple shit, man.
Frankie, do your Virginia governor. Was a governor of Virginia. It's a pretty famous interview. He does the accent perfectly, but this guy basically said, we give live birth, we keep the baby healthy and happy, and they're essentially they're harvesting organs. Essentially,
that's at least the rumor.
Yeah.
I mean, it
I
makes sense.
haven't gone too far down that hole.
Yeah, no, it's well, I mean, look the shirt you're wearing. You went down some rabbit holes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. So yeah, that's a whole other thing. Man.
tattoo.
They're minor attracted people, Scott.
Yeah. Yes, dude.
Minor
Minor
attracted people.
attracted
Isn't that
people.
something?
Yeah, they're
There's
trying to
people that
normalize
defend
it.
them.
They're trying to
Not
fucking
only are they
normalize it.
defended,
California just
they're protected.
California
Yeah.
just downgraded some of the laws that persecute these people.
Yeah.
You know
Scumbags.
Ketanji Brown Jackson.
I'm not familiar.
She's now.
yeah.
Well, she was
Yes,
originally my
yes.
first. She was my first judge.
Wait, no, she's the
Now
Supreme
she's in the
Court.
Supreme Court.
She's a Supreme Court.
She
yes.
was assigned
Yes.
my case.
Wow.
Got promoted by Biden
Yes.
to, I don't know, not appellate, but it was something.
Appellate
She
court?
had gotten promoted once, so they handed it over to Royce Lambert. Then she got promoted to Supreme Court Justice. There were cases that she was downgrading these sexual offenders and child molester cases. There was one case where she gave an 88% downward sentence. All of them, the lowest on that spectrum, or the average was I think a 25% off of what the government
Full sentence
was
would
asking.
be, yeah. What the prosecution was after.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
What?
Not only
There is a-
that,
there is a-
in prison
the-
they're fucking
I
protected.
was just gonna say,
In prison,
yeah,
what?
yeah, but
Who's
there is a
what? The pedophiles are protected.
there's a
in
pecking
prison?
order though.
Because they know.
Oh, they
Because they
find
know.
out real quick.
But they know the inmates are going to get after them.
You're
Yeah.
not gonna live long in prison.
Well, so it depends on what yard you're at. So in the feds, they are fucking protected. Not only are that, they're getting the whole, like a lot of these fucking the transgenders that want to.
Yeah, live
grow a
with
set of tits.
female- Oh, I thought you were going to say the ones that want to be in
Yeah,
female
well,
population
same shit.
that are knocking up the female inmates. It's insane.
Well, that's just fucking nuts. I can tell you stories about that. But the fact that we're paying, the taxpayers are paying for all that.
Oh, paying for them to cut the dicks off and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nuts. But they're protected inside.
No nuts. No nuts.
If you put hand, yeah, that's nuts. Huevos. But if you even put hands, there's ways to do it. But if you get caught putting hands on one of them,
I don't know how protected he was, but they just got to Larry Nasser.
Oh yeah.
They just killed him.
Killed him. They killed him.
They killed him.
Oh wow. Good.
And I'm
He was the one
sure
that
he
was,
was
he-
protected. He was the
He's the one that went
Olympic-
after the U.S. gymnastics girls.
that literally molested
was
hundreds.
that out in Ohio?
hundreds.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
I don't know where it was.
Yeah,
Is that where he
yeah,
was
I think so.
based? But yeah. Anyway, they put him away for. I think
he was
several
alive.
life sentences.
He was alive too long.
Yeah, of course.
He lived maybe
He
a
should've
couple
been-
years, 2-3
See, but
years.
here's what it is. It ain't gonna happen tomorrow, but it's gonna happen.
They'll get you eventually.
It's gonna happen.
There was no more
See,
deserving
all they
man
got-
of death.
all these
and a
guys got in
horrible
there-
death than him.
All these guys got in there is time.
Yeah.
It's time.
If you got a life sentence and you're in there with a guy like that, and you're whatever, you're guilty of robbing a bank. You're not. You're not such a low-level scumbag of a human that you're touching kids. But I guess you wouldn't get a life sentence for robbing a bank. But whatever you get the life sentence for, you're not going to get any more time if you kill that guy.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
You still got a life sentence. So
Yeah, there's. You just got to make one mistake. They make one mistake, and it's a wrap.
I'm surprised.
They know
though,
when
with-
they know
with-
when to come out of the
as
rooms. they know
famous
when
as
not
he
to.
was, I'm surprised he wasn't more protected. Surprised he wasn't 24/7 lockdown. But they got to him. Eventually, it took a number of years, but they got to
Well,
him.
a lot of these places. I mean, like in my unit in prison, there was only 130 guys. I think I was with.
Pull that mic a little closer. Yeah.
130 guys, I guess I was with. I'd say one guard for every 130.
Wow, that's crazy, huh?
Yeah, it's almost
So that's
impossible.
that's my unit, and then it's the same thing downstairs, and then the same thing over here. And then
Do you know the numbers for the total amount of people that actually were incarcerated because of January? I read it was like 1,100 people.
I have no idea.
They went after
I just know that
1,100 people through videotape. I mean, they scrolled through thousands and thousands and thousands
still
of
locking
hours.
people up.
Still locking people up.
And they got not Ray
They got a
Epps,
couple
though.
of them on
Not
the
Ray
run.
Epps, though.
Really?
Got a couple what?
They got a couple guys on the run right now.
Do they really? Wow.
So one of them, on the run was supposed to be sentenced on the 18th. If you look it up, he was in my unit. He was a Proud Boy, and he thought he was a tough guy. He was given one of the guys in there that had autism, a real hard time. And I remember sitting down at the table. The guard was like sitting right where you are, and I sat right there, and he was across from me, And I slapped the shit out of him. He had the water bottle right here,
Yeah.
Well, whack. And big tough Proud Boy. He ended up writing a kite and sliding it under the door when they were doing rounds that night. But he didn't realize that by saying that he's in fear for his life. They fucking took him to the shoe for like a month,
And that's worse, right?
yeah.
Well, I guess.
And then he came, then he came back, and he was with the major and the captain, right? And so the major's like this little old black lady, right? And she's got her mask on, of course. And we're in this little TV room, to sign a non-aggression clause. I got to sign because they're worried about me beating this dude. He's fucking 6'3", 6'4", 270, right? And he's a
Proud Boy guy,
big tough Proud Boy, right?
It's like fucking Roger.
Yeah. So he goes. I sit down, and all of a sudden he fucking starts crying right from the door. So
My God, he's definitely like Roger.
I'm very sensitive, especially sometimes tampon commercials come on at late at night. I'll have a little tear. Hey, listen, some of those are very well written. Very well written. They're sad.
That's great.
So yeah, he sits down and he starts crying right from the door, right? And you got to picture it, man. This little old black captain, right? She's got her mask on. You could tell she's got no fucking teeth, and she's like, "Oh hell no, Chris! I know you ain't crying in here." She saw the mask going on her mouth. I fucking lost. I said, "Are you kidding me? What am I doing in here?" I said, "I'm not gonna hit the guy. Get him out of here."
Oh wow.
Now we've talked before coming down here about Jacob Chansley. Obviously Tucker unleashed some stuff which got him out of prison early.
Rightfully so. I mean,
he's still the Viking shaman.
But
right?
you have an opinion about him. Can you expand on it a little bit? Something you're willing to talk about?
Yeah. He's a chameleon. He was this Viking.
He's a phony.
Without a doubt. He was this, he walked in front of me at the Ellipse, that day. He had no shirt on. I'm like, put a fucking shirt on. It's 30 degrees. It's 30 degrees out here, bro. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Halloween passed a couple months ago. And but his whole thing was, when he first got locked up, he was, Trump sent me there.
Oh, really?
So he was trying to.
That's the first thing he said.
So I know early on.
I wonder if he's
said
part,
I'm a vegan
part
and I need a special diet. I remember that part.
Yeah, special diet.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you're not eating. So his thing was, at first, the whole thing was, blame Trump, blame Trump, blame Trump.
Really, I wasn't aware of that.
Now I don't know if he was using that to try and get a lesser sentence, whatever it might be,
or if he's part of.
But if you're that fucking guy, and you're this preacher, and you're this and that, and
He was a preacher, supposedly?
he got up there and prayed. He prayed on what was it, the
at the
Senate
Capitol?
floor? No, inside.
Yeah.
When they let him into the Senate chamber.
He did, and he was with Capitol officers. I almost think he
Correct.
was hand in hand with the Capitol officers rather, saying a prayer in the Capitol, if I remember correctly. So, yeah.
I mean, I
or about the Capitol officers and keeping them safe, something to that effect. I remember seeing, but none of us would have seen that footage if it wasn't for. There's a lot of footage. There was footage that all the Democrats. I don't want to get into Democrats, Republican, but the Democrats were really ripping on Senator Howley for running out during the. You know what I mean? And then they show the extended. Tucker shows the extended. They all ran out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
all of them ran.
Yeah, they all ran out. Everybody's got something to say about it, but my thing about him is as a. It's just, it's easy to now back Trump once again when it's in your favor.
So now he's back on Trump's side, you saying?
He's done that.
He would get no airtime if he wasn't.
Yeah, right.
Come on, man. When that happened, everybody wanted to say, these extremists. I mean, face it, a lot of people were against us.
Yeah.
A lot of people were against us.
A lot. You're a hated man. I don't know about how much of our audience, but you're a hated man by a lot of the country.
I've got 8 shoeboxes full of letters and postcards from people I never met.
I bet you
that say different.
Yeah.
I'm saying for as many that hate
Japan,
you. Yeah.
Australia.
Wow.
Croatia.
Well, look what they did in Australia. You know,
Australia was nuts.
Yeah, it is.
Sydney was fucking nuts.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that? If they did that here, who would take to the streets?
Frankie and I, you know, we've discussed this, and we always say, you know, what is our line in the sand? And I think for us, we're family men. You know, not that we have any more lose than you did. We all have the same amount of lose, our freedoms, right? But I think it's when they come to your door. I think that's where when they come to my door and they say, we're taking your liberties and your freedoms for no good reason. Listen, if I'm out breaking the law and robbing banks, I deserve to lose my freedom. If I'm a law-abiding citizen, and they decide that the Constitution no longer can be upheld, and because maybe of a post that I post or whatever, they're now coming to take my rights and liberties.
Sure,
that's where I'm going to stand my ground.
I think the guns, bro.
Well, that's part of what I'm saying,
right? Yeah. Once you come for the guns,
yeah.
I don't know. Listen,
just the beginning.
See the old man.
I said this. I don't know if I said it publicly, but fuck it. Like, we may learn in 20 years or 10 years or whatever, or we may never learn, and if we never learn, we're fucked probably.
Yeah.
That our country has been infiltrated from within, right?
Absolutely.
That's the only explanation we can make for what is decisions that our government is doing for us. Right?
Here's what's so
start?
Fucking wild.
Assassination of JFK.
Here's what's so,
where?
I know.
Here's what's so wild.
Right.
Here's what's so wild is that
moon landing.
It didn't happen overnight.
No. Hell no. Yeah.
So little, piece by piece.
And again, are they all bad? I believe there's some really good FBI agents. We had one on
the
show. Great
without
guy
a doubt.
who I truly believe did his service honorably. He's retired now.
He was Navy SEAL though. But you didn't read his book. You
FBI.
didn't read his book, but I read his book, and he talked about how Navy SEALs, like, everything is about, like, they're so organized and everything like this. Like, you know, some of the best leaders he ever met were from the Navy SEAL. He said FBI. He said he doesn't want to knock because he works for the FBI. He wanted a Valor Medal and stuff.
Sure.
He was on Homeland Security. Did a whole bunch of stuff to Afghanistan with them and everything. But he was like, in the book. He said several times, like, listen, some of the best leaders I met were in the FBI. He's like, but as a whole, he said they are a bunch of fuck offs, pretty much. Kind of said that in not so many words. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it doesn't surprise me, really. You know,
Navy SEAL guys are
different animal.
Different breed. I did the security to swim across the Hudson with them before I went in.
Lucky you lived through that.
That was in 20.
A lot of shit in that water.
Yeah. Well, you got to see them coming out.
Yeah.
I'm pulling them up onto the barge where they do the 22 pull-ups and the 100 push-ups they do 3 legs.
Oh wow.
They're coming up, and you can see where.
Oh yeah.
Pulled them out with the shit on
They
it.
got a tetanus shot. You know they get a tetanus shot before they swim.
100%.
They swim in that fucking water.
Bro,
Right?
The girl and I went to a place and
how about
Bulldog's got
dirty
a
water
raft
boys.
out there.
Dirty water boy. The guy.
Bulldog's got a raft in the hot tub.
Yeah. We did a podcast recently called the Dirty Water Boys, where they go and they get the
mammoth bones.
They get mammoth bones in the East River. They said the East River is literally filled with shit on the bottom, shit and toilet paper. And that means that's not supposed to happen. No. It's not supposed to, right? It's supposed to go into the reservoir or like the waste site.
The girl and I went to a place right on the Hudson in Edgewater. Forget the name of the place. This is maybe
Waterside
last summer. I forget the name. Beautiful place.
Yeah,
there was a guy there. It's like, yeah, body just washed up here last week. He's like, want to see it? I don't know why.
So fuck what is Boys in the Hood? Want to see a dead body?
Shows me on his phone a dead body, literally right below where the deck is, overlooking the Hudson, just washed up on shore. Nobody really wants to touch it. Jersey side doesn't want it. Wow. You know, they don't. Nobody wants to be responsible for claiming it because nobody knows which side it went in on, whether it was, you know. But anyway, long story short, yeah, washed up the week before we were there, and people were, you know, morbidly taking videos of it. It's pretty gross.
Wow, I got a story, but we have to stop filming.
Oh, shit. Really?
Let's talk about it after.
Did you put somebody in the Hudson?
Yeah, well.
Swimming with the fishes.
Bulldog's another interview we might do one day. I don't know.
Yes.
Could be. Interesting story. What did that magazine article call you? What were you compared to?
Which one?
You were compared to some it was some gangster from back in the day, the modern day something. I forget they did an article.
Humphrey Bogart.
Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah,
wow, Humphrey Bogart.
I got the Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah. He's an interesting
ethnic tough guy from 1941, I think it was.
He's done some shit.
It was that,
in your
yeah.
day. We'll get to you another day there, Bulldog. It'll be a
yeah.
If you wanna do a,
I gotta commit for this one because I got some shit to add to that.
Yeah. Real Housewives of New Jersey all just tuned into our show. We got a whole bunch of new fans right now.
Yeah.
Out of control.
So Scott, when you were in, you got sentenced. You knew your sentence, right?
Yeah. So I got sentenced in November 10th of 2021. I got sentenced.
And what was the sentence?
41 months.
41 months.
So I was in between the guidelines of 41 months to 51 months. They gave me 41 months because all of a sudden that evidence came out.
Oh, that you helped the cops out. Okay.
That I had helped those 4 capital.
Right.
So it was before you were sentencing. That was part of discovery, or no?
I never saw it.
You never saw it.
So
your attorney never saw it. You're saying they saw it.
He said it. So when I looked at him like, told you so.
Yeah.
He was like, how come we don't have this? They're like, oh, surely you do.
Really?
The fuck is going on?
Did he drop the ball, or they fucking finagled?
Well, that's my thing. Yeah. He said he was sending in my evidence to D.C., but D.C. and he's like, I'm following up on it. They keep saying it, and they're fucking everybody's evidence was disappearing, bro. Like that's just the way it is. So at that point, I was like, I fucking told you so. She's like, yeah, 2 of the officers corroborated the story. Blah blah blah. I'm like, well, let's go. And that's when my judge was like, tell me what changed in 23 minutes from when you helped these officers, went into Capitol, came out, and then assaulted Metro PD.
Yeah. Oh, motherfucker hit me with a fucking baton, right? that's what happened.
That's what I said. But so there's so much to it, and all I had time to do was like study case law, right? Study case law, and it's if they had said, stop, you're being detained. You have no self-defense avenue to travel, right? The minute they try and detain you, you're done. But the fact that there was you're under arrest. You know, anything. They didn't even fucking talk to me. They didn't say one word. You could obviously see it. They turn around and fucking and can continue going to that Lower West Terrace. So that whole thing, did I want to fight it? Yeah, I did. But then you're in D.C. where there's never been 10% of the fucking vote red. I'm going to get slaughtered. There's a picture of me walking into the Capitol with a fucking baton in my hand.
Yeah, right.
There's a video of me punching an officer in the face shield. I'm done.
Yeah.
So do I just take these two felonies and get out of Dodge? Absolutely. That's why I was the first assault sentenced.
Bro,
I took my 41 months to get out in front of the ball.
Yeah.
And it was tough taking that. It was tough taking
I
that.
can't
you
imagine.
know?
Did you do 41 months?
No. So that's where it gets fucking crazy. Is I took this plea under the agreement that I was going to be expedited quickly out of D.C. because now I'm fighting with the guards. That altercation. Then I had another one with another guard who, like a fucking young idiot on camera dancing around, fuck you, white boy, this, that, the other thing, and doing shit in front of my cell, and I'm like, fucking bozo, you're on camera, you know. So they were trying to set me up down there.
Trying to get you to entice you to do
Oh,
something.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
To add more time to yourself.
So,
And you
they,
thi-
but
you-
they
and
kept
you
me
think
there.
this is because you're a January 6th offender,
Without a doubt.
right? Yeah,
Without a
yeah,
doubt.
yeah,
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
So 87 days after I was sentenced, after making some noise, like I could be in prison programming and trying to get it working additional time off. So finally they shipped me. 87 days after my lawyer promised me that I'd be out of there in a week. I'd be out of there in a week. I'd be going to Fort Dix.
Oh, right here.
And I'd be in a camp. I stayed 87 fucking days. I went to North Carolina, and I was in their medium high security. Yeah.
With other January 6th or no?
No.
No, just normal pop. Normal pop.
Yeah, no, medium high security prison. Couple guys doing life. Couple, yeah.
How was that?
It was all, you know. My thing is like, and I'm not a hard ass. I just stand my fucking
You're
ground.
a big dude, though. That helps.
It does. But if you don't walk the right way, you know what I mean, with some confidence in your body, you know what I mean, like
Swag, yeah.
They're gonna
you're
take
fucking
advantage.
getting run over.
Yeah.
See, my shit. So like, we'll talk about prison. So here's my thing. I get to prison, right? You got blacks, whites, right? You got the Spanish, right? You got your Mexican gangs, right? Let's talk gangs. That's basically it. You got your natives too, but a lot of the natives run with whites. Okay?
Native, like Americans?
Native Americans.
They run with whites.
Yeah.
You're a wood? Is that what they call the white?
See, but this is what it is. Like, that's an independent, right? So I had gotten approached by a different group of guys, and I don't want to, really put them out there, but to sit at their quote-unquote gang table. And I had said to them, I'm not in a gang, and I'm Christian. A lot of them follow, Odin, so to speak. And they're like, we don't fucking care. They're like, we know who you are. We want you to sit with us. And I said, okay, but I'm not pushing a knife for none of you motherfuckers. I'm doing my time. I'm going to fuck home. You got it. So that's on the yard. And this is where this is fucked up because it's not like this everywhere. And I feel like I was lucky that I was able to really pull this shit off. Because back in my unit, they say it's what car you in. When you get to prison, it's what car you in. What fucking car you in. Somebody comes in the unit, they're from Jersey. I'm like, let me see your fucking paperwork. Right away, What car you in. That's where you're from, who you ride with, where you're from. So I'm New York, New Jersey, right? So in my unit, of course, I'm one of in my unit, I'm one of only maybe like a handful of white guys. Well, not even that. A lot of them don't even fucking stand up because they're all strung out. You know what I mean? So like solid fucking guys, there's maybe like a handful. So I get in my unit. So now in my unit, I'm riding with a Jersey car, New York car. So I got guys from the Bronx, I got guys from Newark, I got a couple guys from Brooklyn. But what it enabled me to do was really fucking run the show. Because out there on the yard, I'm rocking obviously with the white boys, but also kicking it with the Serenos, kicking it with Aryan Brotherhood, the natives, because the natives don't fuck around. You know,
There's a big inmate population of natives. I never knew that.
it's not out here, not on the East Coast, but out on that West Coast, they're deep.
Really?
Here's the thing: the natives, they don't play. They don't play. And I had stood with the Sureños and the natives against the Paises on the yard, so to speak, and inside it was inside the little rec area because we weren't allowed to have even like pull-up bars.
The Paises are who?
Paises are a Mexican gang, but they take on a lot of different guys. There's also white guys in their gang, but that tends to be like, all right, why is this white dude running with them? So it's paperwork has always become an issue with a lot of shit out there. So there was shit was about to go down, you know, and it was funny. I was like, fuck it, I was just feeling it that day, you know, and I came out and stood behind a couple of my brothers that were, you know, Sureños and a couple natives. And there was probably like 15 of us and like 45 of them. I was like, let's go, motherfucker. And I got back to my unit, you know, nothing transpired. They brought in, you know, a response team and shit. And I got back to my unit. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Get your shit together. Yeah. But that's how easily you can fucking fall into it.
You adapt to prison lifestyle and mentality, right?
You kind of have to, right?
You're going
to break if you don't, right?
Man. And it's like how quickly I became a part of the system. I'm fucking cooking. I'm cooking in my I'm fucking. I got sandpaper. I sand down my desk. I'm cooking fucking sausage and peppers. What a flame!
Let's see some of your tattoos. You got some new ink there.
I'm tattooing heads. I'm tattooing a dude's head. I put a 922G, which is a felon in possession of a firearm. He's like, put it right here. Fucking exit sign on fucking his temple.
You have the Capitol building tattooed on you, correct?
Oh yeah.
See that.
I happen to get that in there too. Well, so that's right where I went in over here, and I made it all the way down to here, and that's where I saw them, and I was like, no, you got to go back here now. And that was pretty good work for being in there, right?
Not bad at all.
Not
but
bad.
What's interesting is you already had a lot of patriotic stuff. It wasn't like you just did this in prison. You already had the American flag, right? Yeah. The Statue of Liberty. Yeah. You just sort of added to it in prison.
It passes time.
Your spirit wasn't broken in any way. It doesn't seem like your love for the country, your love for patriotism. Did you see guys in there that you were in there with? I think you said in D.C. like 130 guys that were part. Were any of them broken?
So the 130 I was with wasn't anybody from D.C.
Oh, it wasn't.
No, that was prison. So jail.
No.
In jail.
When you were in jail, yeah.
In D.C.
Okay.
Yeah.
They called it the Patriot Pod.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The people that were singing the national anthem with.
Yeah. So I had helped set up, which this is a pretty good fucking story, man, about how people came together in support of us. Yeah. I had set up through this guy, David Clement. They call him the Professor, who's fucking awesome. He does a lot for the guys that have been locked up on January 6th. Check out the Prisoner's Record, it's called. So I had developed a relationship with him in setting up an itinerary for every inmate from January 6th. So I went around to every fucking guy and was like, you need shoes. You need sneakers. You need thermals. You need food. So what we did was we started asking guys and getting a good thing together of where who needs what are you getting, what don't you have, this, that, the other thing. So what was awesome was he was putting up like a checklist of who received what. So ultimately everybody ended up getting a sponsor. Think about how awesome that is. Guys in there that were locked up that might not have the money or their families to have the money to send in commissary to get them something. Because let's face it, the food is fucking terrible. So just a simple thing like that, people came together. So I worked it out where every guy was getting commissary. Every week people were getting shit donated in, people putting money on their books. But this was like, I'm telling people are just ordering shit. Like, okay, this guy might like fucking mackerel, you know, like which to you would be like, oh, that's fucking terrible. I couldn't get enough fucking mackerel. You know, when I left, I was like a fucking seal. But it's just the shit that you don't have out here, but in there it means so much. And I just think about somebody you never even met in your life. Like I had this woman, Claudia, and her family. I've never met them. I've saved every single fucking letter. I tried writing back everybody, but there were so many fucking letters.
That's awesome, though.
That I saved every box.
This was in prison.
Yeah. This is
the
whole...
That had to make you feel good, no?
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. That you're a person and people care.
I received letters from the Chinese Republican women of California.
Wow. They love you long time.
Interesting.
Not what I was expecting.
Very interesting.
Frankie's going to get a lot of hate
I've got...
There's going to be a lot of women out there that are going to take... The feminists are coming after you again.
they're going to get them.
Yeah.
They're going to get them.
Wow. Well, but back to my question. You didn't see their spirit broken. They're steadfast to their beliefs.
There were guys that didn't appreciate sponsors. But it's a quick fucking walk up to them like, hey, man, get your shit together. Right. How the fuck dare you look and be like, oh, I fucking hate tuna fish. Well, then fucking trade it. You know, it's a quick, like, you know where you're at, right? You wouldn't have shit right now. Yeah. These people are donating their time and their money. Right. That's when guys were like...
on your commissary, you're saying?
Well, they were actually sending in gift.
Oh, you're allowed to do that? Send direct?
They were sending a gift.
Oh,
well, not directly.
You
You weren't receiving it, like, from them. They would go on the jails, like... order shit, whatever, and just send in blind shit. But we would make a list of like what people needed. Like if you needed fucking sneakers, you're getting sneakers. Wow. You're not going to walk around in moccasins all day.
Wow.
You know, it's funny. I want to jump in. We would keep in touch as much as we could, right?
Yeah.
And you know, I'd be worried about him, and he'd be like, "I got it. You know, I could do this standing on my head all day long." He was more concerned about my kids and how I was doing than anything else.
Well, yeah, you would do
and
this,
I
you
would
do
just
the same fucking
get off the phone with you and be like, I said to Marie, he's more worried about the kids.
You know, I think there are certain people that just have a certain will and toughness.
He's unbreakable.
Integrity about them.
He's unbreakable.
You know who that reminded me of? Not that there are any similarities, but his view on prison and the guy that had it all was the Aaron Hernandez documentary. Did you watch this? Where he went to prison. He's in an 8x10 cell, and he just came out of a $5 million mansion.
Right.
He's talking to, I believe it was his aunt or his wife on the phone. He said, piece of cake. This isn't bad at all. I could do this, no problem.
Are we comparing? Well, hold on here. Are we comparing Aaron Fernandez to my man over here?
No, I'm just saying. There was no comparison.
What the fuck?
We're going to catch a couple bodies.
It reminded me of a guy that had a life, right? Had everything.
Okay.
And there are certain people that could never do prison time, and there are certain people that no matter what they had before, right? And he had the world, like literally was on a winning Super Bowl team that literally had no issue with doing prison time, and it was no problem for him. There was no comparison whatsoever. Frankie likes to completely whitewash everything and change it. It's his favorite thing to do. I didn't compare Scott and him in any way whatsoever. But this is his bag. This is what he loves to do. He likes to try to make himself look better by putting others down. Dude, he does it the entire podcast. Where did I compare them in any way? I just said it reminded me of Aaron Hernandez.
Reminded is kind of a comparison. I mean, I'm just saying.
There was no boyfriend involved or anything.
Yeah.
The shit is though that they, without a doubt, tried breaking me at every turn
Throughout this whole process.
Yeah,
the whole fucking process from start to finish. It was a at every turn. So like, man. So they reported I had a heart attack. That was in Hudson County. Then I get to D.C.
But you didn't.
I didn't.
Who's they?
My medical. When I went for my medical fucking. First of all, I get to fucking Hudson County and they put me into psych unit. This is a fucking good one. Here we go. So they put me into psych unit, And I'm down there for 2 weeks, right? And there's one dude across from me. Now it's like, like Lecter had, like the glass in the front, because it's like 24-hour fucking whatever watch. And I'm watching this one dude every day, and he's fucking out there. And I feel for him, but he's funny too. So one day he's got this fat guard watching him, right? And he's just crushing this guard, right? And he's like, I'll never forget this till the day I die. He's like, I saw you eat a whole fucking burrito. And I just lost my shit. It was like he's like, you fat fuck. I saw you watch it. Oh, I guess you just had to be there. It was one of those moments where I'm like, well, you can either laugh at this shit or fucking, or be that guy, So that was like the start of it. I was like, all right, I get it. Then D.C. D.C. was just, was nuts. Black box for the transport, shackled escort wherever I went, inside the prison, or inside the jail at that time. Fight the shit with the guards.
So sentenced to 41 months, how much time did you actually do?
I did 28 months, 17 days.
And let go early because of house arrest?
Because of Trump's, they denied me halfway house. This is I have a lawsuit filed, and I'm looking to pick up a lawyer to represent this, but I had already filed it in the Eastern District of North Carolina. I was set to go to the halfway house back in November of 2022. I was granted a year of halfway house by the warden, assistant warden, everybody there, including my doctors, my oncologist down there. I received an acceptance letter from the halfway house and their packet in Newark. I was later denied 3 days later by Patrick McFarland from the Office of Medical Designation in New York, and I had the paper. I was declared medically inappropriate for the halfway house. I was self-carry medicated the whole time I've been locked up, which means I keep my chemo pills in my cell. I didn't even meet my doctors the whole time I was in prison. Everything was done on a speakerphone with my the PA down there. You cannot deny an inmate programming based solely on a disability. Cancer being a disability. It's called the American Disability Act of 1990. Even if my cancer is in remission, which it never will be, you can't deny an inmate. It's black and white.
And that's the reason for denial.
That was the reason why I didn't go to a halfway house. I was declared medically inappropriate. Wow. My white blood, my percentage, which is your not my white blood cell count, but my I forget what the hell it's called, the lowest percentage it's ever been in my body, and they still denied me. Not only that, they denied me home confinement and said that I am the highest public safety factor, your PSF score that you could possibly have, a 7. They have me as a public safety factor 7, but also had me listed as a low recidivism, which means I'm least likely to commit
follow-up crime.
But yet my PSF score is a 7. Come on, man. So they took a year from me there, ultimately. But I got 241 days of good time on top of what would be Trump's First Step Act that he signed in back in 2000. Yeah,
right.
2002.
Wow. Since we're speaking of Trump, what is, do you have a take on 2024? I mean, obviously they're coming after him. You gotta say
chess.
That, yeah,
it's all chess.
Right.
Chess, not checkers.
Right.
See, what's great about it is now he's got subpoena power.
Discovery again. Here we are with Discovery again.
Isn't it funny though how all those videos that they said they have for January 6th and all that evidence now is Gone. Come on, man.
Destroyed, right? In a fire? Was that it? Or what was it?
Like those
30,
30,
no, they didn't save it. It wasn't
like
backed
those
up.
33,000 emails.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, would you ever do another one of these? Like, say there's another. I mean, this is kind of how I feel. They're not gonna let this motherfucker win, right? They're not gonna listen. At what point?
They're gonna kill him.
At what
I
point
think
does?
they're
Well,
gonna kill
what?
him.
Yeah,
That's the only way
see,
for
talk,
him not
talk,
to
talking
win.
about
100%
that.
gonna kill
At
him.
what point does everybody do what you did? You know what I'm saying? Like all the people that give a fuck about our country. I mean, we're probably gonna get fucking just
There's so
shadow
many
banned and blocked and everything, right? You know,
There's so many variables. Almost to that question, like what is it?
They're not going to allow.
It's one of those questions where it's like, what
They
is it
learned
going
a
to
lot.
fucking?
we
January
always
6th.
talk about like whatever, who gives a shit. But we always talk like I'm not the guy. I'm no military guy. I'm no this and that. But
I'm not military either.
I know, but like it's gonna take like someone, the Marines, like literally the whole Marines to be like, all right, something's up. We need to do something about this.
A general.
That's what it's gonna take, don't you think? Or like Tim Kennedy to be like,
I say Tim
all right,
Kennedy.
This is what we got to do. Like I'll follow
Tim
one of
Kennedy's
those.
a fucking beast.
Yeah, I'll
Love
follow
that.
one of those.
I love
dudes.
what he did. I love what he did with Afghanistan
I
and getting
love that
people out
dude.
in the whole.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy, man.
We had him on the show. Great dude. Couldn't talk in depth about
Right, of course.
politics side of it and how
Right.
he ended up there. I mean, he's like, people think I just
Bro,
got
I
on the
watched,
fucking plane. Didn't happen like
I
that.
just watched that movie, The Covenant. You see that? Guy Ritchie's Covenant?
Yeah,
Fucking good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what it needs to come down to is people need to tune out and tune in. Tune out to the bullshit.
There's a lot of people that can't decipher what is bullshit and what isn't. You know, there's people that think we're spewing pure bullshit right now. And
Because here's the problem: they listen to opinion. They listen to opinion before they listen to fucking facts. What's factual? Well, take the fucking time to look it up yourself.
Yeah.
But they're changing that now. They're changing when you look things up. They're changing. Google has changed. Like I just talking about the 3%er. You look it up now. I'm part
Well,
of.
look, they're trying to change the.
They're changing the meaning
just this
of
kid.
things. They're
This kid
changing
getting.
that's true.
American history. They're
Yeah.
changing it.
Yeah.
Well, no. How about this? Like fake news. We know fake news is real, right?
Absolutely.
So you don't think that all this history we learned all since we were fucking babies is not fake news?
I know. But
That's
now-
probably all fake news too.
So that's where it goes to the indoctrination shit. How long has this fucking been happening?
Oh, dude, so long. I brought up this.
It can't be all.
The guy-
Some of it has to be accurate.
Of course, yeah, but
What is
something's
and
real,
what isn't,
right?
right.
But how about I keep bringing up the ex KGB guy. Remember, this was like early '80s, maybe '70s, and he was talking about how our country has been infiltrated from within, and it's not like it's through like indoctrinations, and it's going to start in our schools where people are going to hate to be American, like being American's bad. And this guy was talking about this in I believe the '70s, '80s. He's like, we need to do something now. If we don't, he's like, this is the last free place in the world. Talking about America. If we don't do something now, we're not going to do it. Well, guess what? We didn't do nothing, and we're living it. We're living what this guy's talking about.
Absolutely. And they're starting with our children now. It's been going on for a while.
Bro,
like you made the point that people started paying attention during COVID. Now
It
we're
fucking
seeing
backfired on them. What's so crazy is that and I say they, and we know who they is, and I don't want to get into it, but
You can trace it all the way back to
it's
the
fucking
Rockefellers.
wild how now they're spitting in your face.
Teachers are boldly putting posts up. Boldly. Not all. There's some great teachers out there. Frankie and I happen to be friends with a bunch of them in the area that are very like-minded, scared to death to speak up. Scared
Yeah.
to
Oh,
death.
yeah.
Scared to take on
I'm not
the
going to say,
teachers
but I
union.
went to a couple board meetings.
Yeah.
Over the this whole debacle and
debacle,
whatever. And when I was walking in, there was three teachers. She said, "Please, can you speak? You need to speak at this thing." And honestly, I was gonna go, and then the line was out the fucking thing, and I'm like, you weren't getting nowhere. I went to 3 fucking meetings, and the people that we put in place to protect our kids aren't gonna do nothing. They're gonna do nothing. So, our hands are tied. So I'm like, there's no reason for me to be here anymore.
what's great though is it needed to start at the local levels.
Yeah.
I think that's where it all really needs to
Grassroots.
start.
Everything's grassroots, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's the way to get a real good foundation.
What's great is, and they're so.
Homeschool your kids.
Honestly, dude, no
It
joke.
does. It
I'm
fucking
not there
does.
yet, but
No joke.
But it
I
does,
told
and-
my kids that if this COVID shit comes back, we're not doing it. I'm not doing it. My kids had max
Right
exemptions.
with
you
you.
know
on
they're
that.
going to
My kids had
control
max
that. though.
exemptions.
You know they're going to control that at some point. They're gonna come in
Well, look at the public.
What, and say you can't homeschool your kid?
No, they're going to
Bullshit.
allow you to, but they're going to restrict it, and they're going to put so many, restrictions and guidelines on what you must teach, and what they're not
The
going to give you
long-term
the
effect.
right. They,
The
will.
long-term effect of
They
this
have
shit.
to control you.
The long-term effect of this homeschooling, these kids having to wear masks, their communication skills.
Well,
Everything.
homeschooling has amazing benefits. They're not getting indoctrinated, right? You're not teaching my kid critical race theory and making my kid feel bad for something they had no control over. Things like that. That's great, but you're taking out a social
Yeah, I don't know, bro.
aspect
I don't
of
know.
it.
That's
Also,
what you
you're
think.
taking out an educational aspect because let's be real. How many of these parents are really taking the time to really go through the shit with their
I
kids?
know, but you know what? And everyone talks about this. Everyone talks about homeschooling. You know what the we've been homeschooling kids since the beginning of fucking time. The experiment is this education system we have.
100%.
Because that's only been around for 100 years. Homeschool's been around for fucking ever.
100%.
So that's the
And
really
it starts
the
with
truth.
morals,
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Values.
values,
I just
Yeah.
don't understand
everything
how-
at home. That's like ultimately you see. You look at old school. I'm an old school guy, old school shit, and it's just. I feel like it needs to get back to the family, man. It just
Yeah,
needs to get
no,
back to the family.
100%.
That's where it starts.
It needs to get back to the family values, family.
They don't want people having fucking families no more.
They don't.
They really don't. This world is crazy, man. It is crazy, bro. It's scary. It's scary for, I got young kids, man. It's scary, dude.
I don't know
Very.
how I would handle it
Yeah.
had I had a child
Yeah.
and his teacher was pushing that shit on him or all this crazy shit. Right
You know
now.
what? This is what I would say.
I don't think I have that. That
reserve.
I don't.
Yeah. No,
I
I that's why, like, I tell him, talk to your damn kids. People out there, talk to your kids. Know what they
Amen.
are being told. Like, have a relationship with your kids. My kids, they're like us. They're like us. Because I fucking tell them. I talk to them. I let them know. You can't let these people indoctrinate your kids. You can't let them tell your kids how to think. I don't want to tell my kid how to think either. I'm always telling my kid, listen, even if it's me, question my ass. Question my ass.
Right
You know
on.
what I mean?
That's
For
awesome.
real. And I'm like, yo, you're gonna meet a girl, like my boys, like, or
Yeah.
you're gonna meet a girl or a boy that's gonna say some shit that might sound pretty cool, pretty this, but question it because
Yeah.
it might not be that cool. Because it might not be that cool.
That's some great advice.
For real.
Kids are taught not to question.
Yeah.
They're taught in school. Yeah. I think you always have to question authority, with respect. There's a way to do it and be respectful. You shouldn't be I'm not saying disrespect your teachers. There's a way you can ask questions. The video we were talking about today, that teacher wanted to hear none of it. She didn't want to hear any facts about the Gadsden Flight.
Bro,
Remember?
honestly, and then the kid was smiling and this and that. Like, he knew. And that reminded me of Santino, bro. My son Santino, listen, it was when 2021, they were going back to school when they had to wear masks. And we didn't have mask exemptions yet. We knew we were getting them. We were getting them. Like, it was school started on Tuesday. We were getting the mask exemption on Wednesday. I sent my kids to school. I said, we're not wearing masks today, kids. I sent them. I said, if a teacher asks, tell you respectfully, I'm not going to wear a mask, because I can't breathe.
That's it.
And I honestly,
Which is
I sent
true.
three of my kids,
yeah,
and I
which is
didn't
true.
expect any of them to stand up because it's tough. It's
Yeah.
tough when your kid, the teacher, they're taught to respect their
Friends.
teachers, and all their friends are doing it.
What their parents
and
are
my
telling
one
their friends.
son went into school, and this is his first day at new school. First 3 classes, he didn't get no questions at all. His 4th class teacher's like, "Oh, where's your mask? Oh, I can't wear a mask. It gives me a headache. Oh, well, you're gonna have to wear that mask." He's like, "I'm sorry, miss, but it gives me a headache. I'm not gonna wear it. We're gonna have to go to the principal's office." Okay, I'll go to
That's
the principal. He's fucking stuck to his guns.
That's beautiful.
Wait, the principal, sir, and he was respectful. I'm sorry, I'm not going to wear it, but it gives me a headache. And I had to go pick him up that day from school. And, bro, I was so proud of that kid. So proud of that kid,
man.
standing up for
That's awesome.
Natural born
yeah,
leader.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, it wasn't
was great.
not totally separate thing, but within the school system. Wasn't long after that. There was a school policy about you can't wear pajamas, right, in school. But kids can wear
Dog collars
with leashes
dress up
and
as
all that
animals.
shit. But his kids got I don't want to say
Identify
expelled,
themselves as
but
animals.
No, we had to go bring sweatpants to them. They couldn't wear pajama pants. I'm like, bro, pajama pants are sweatpants. They just got plaid on them. You know what I'm saying?
Sick.
Priorities.
kids can run around with leashes on their neck, though. That's fine.
And identify as fucking trees
That's
if they want
fine,
to.
yeah. And I hear in some schools they have litter boxes for them. It's crazy. It's insanity. You're rewarding an illness.
What I feel that's a fucking. Is that a South Park episode?
No, probably.
Well,
It feels like they had litter boxes in schools. Just think.
oh yeah.
Insanity. Rewarding literally an illness. And you're encouraging it. It's sad.
Just a mess, man. Top to bottom.
Well, Scott, man, it was good to have you. Good
Man,
to share.
hey, listen,
share
I
some
can't
of
thank
that-
you guys
that's,
enough, man.
What you went through. A lot of people wouldn't do what you did. You know what I mean?
Most
And,
people would do
definitely
it.
not.
most people wouldn't do what you did, and yeah, and you did it with such
Sacrifice.
humility too. You know what I mean?
Guys got balls of steel.
Yeah, balls of steel is what it is, really. And our country owes you a debt, I think. You know what I'm saying?
Not our country, patriots.
Our patriots. Yeah, well, our country,
There's
though.
a
really.
lot of non-patriots in this country.
I know, but guess what? Those motherfuckers are gonna run our country to the ground. So our country needs people like him.
Our history.
You know, right? Our history. Hopefully,
Yes.
you know, people could
Veterans
learn from
and
this.
people that died for
And
our country.
like you're willing to put, I mean, your life on the line. You know what I mean? You lost fucking 2 years of your life, dude, to you know, go to bat for our country. And people don't do that nowadays ever. Nowhere. No one's selfless like that. So you get all my credit, my man.
I just want to add to that and say thank you so much for coming in. I know we've talked about this for a while. I really appreciate you sharing your story. And my biggest takeaway from this, and one that was totally unexpected, was your finding Christ in this,
Yeah,
and how that changed your life, and
Much respect.
how you see a bigger, broader, more bright picture and future because of that. And that touched me, man. I so much appreciate that.
Well,
And
you know,
I think we need to get back to that very much so.
I agree, and you know, I appreciate you guys. I
End
got
of days
a ton
is
of
not
respect
far
for both of
away.
you guys. I think it comes down to just simplify your life. Get rid of those worldly possessions, worldly idols, false idols, and just focus on your family.
Amen.
Keep it
And
simple.
If I
Keep
could
it
just
simple,
add to
man.
this, it didn't take you to go to prison to be the guy you are. You've always been one of the most stand-up, greatest guys in the world.
I
So it
appreciate
didn't take you to go there to be this guy. You
It took
you-
for the world to know. Though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You know what I mean?
right. You worked with those children. I'm a witness to it. We're friends how long, and I know what a great guy you are. Give the shirt off your back. It's like everyone in this room, solid guy. So it didn't take that to happen, but maybe for the world to see, like Frankie sort of said.
This was all part of God's plan.
Amen. What a great takeaway.
For sure.
You could have come out of this a lot of different ways, Scott. I think you came out of it best possible. way
On
you
top.
could have.
That's
On
it,
top.
baby.
That's
it,
right,
man.
baby. On top.
Much
All
love.
right, guys.
God bless.
Respect.
Find and follow us on YouTube, Rumble, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and most other podcast platforms. Roger, take it away.
This guy.